Hi there, my name is Rich Waterman. Thank you for watching this latest video. This video, I wanted to talk a little bit about emotions that we might label as negative emotions or bad emotions or unresourceful emotions. And one of the things that I've observed over the years, and I do talk about it a little bit in some of the other videos, is that, you know what, particularly with a lot of development of mindset techniques, neurolinguistic programming, etc., there has been a sort of a somewhat tendency to go, these are the emotions that I want to feel, and these emotions are not useful for me, therefore I need to eliminate them, destroy them, change them, so on and so forth. And I don't think that approach is always useful. Sometimes it is. We need to interrupt patterns that we've been running for a while that don't serve us. But I don't think making things wrong, bad, or negative is necessarily always useful. And let me explain a little bit more about that. We as human beings, we feel a spectrum of emotions, and it's consistent across basically all human beings. So, we are all capable of feeling joy, happiness, love, excitement, so on and so forth. And equally, we're all capable of feeling anger, frustration, loneliness, sadness, feeling lost, and all those other feelings. And they all have a use. And often it's our judgment on those so-called negative or unresourceful emotions that can be the problem. So, for example, you might wake up in the morning and think, I feel low, or I feel uncertain or worried, or maybe there's a piece of news that you had, or maybe it was something you focused on, and suddenly you find yourself in a particular emotional state, and you start to judge yourself for feeling that emotion, like, oh, I shouldn't be feeling that, I shouldn't be feeling lost, I shouldn't be feeling anxious, I shouldn't be feeling fearful. And often it's the judgment of the emotion that's the problem, not the emotion itself. Let me explain that a little bit more. Brené Brown talks about this, and I'll see if I can track down the YouTube video and put this on the site as well. She talks about the difference between shame and guilt. And it's a very interesting distinction because we use both those words quite a lot in the human language, and actually guilt particularly a lot. And she makes this distinction, which is guilt is I did something wrong, or I did something I regret. Whereas shame is I am wrong, or that I am less. So it's a personalized thing. And it's interesting some of the work that her and other people in that field have gone out, and actually particularly work in prisons and things like that, where they find a lot of shame amongst that demographic of people, where people are making themselves wrong, pointing the finger at themselves. And actually, interestingly, so shame, making yourself wrong, is associated with long-term depression, addictions, and all sorts of behaviours that probably are undesirable, quite frankly. Whereas guilt, I did something wrong, or I wish I hadn't done that, because it's separated from that self, that identity is much more healthy. So how does this practically work? First of all, recognize that all emotions that you feel are useful. It's just that with some emotions, they are ones we should indulge and enjoy and immerse ourselves in. Whether it's joy, whether it's love, whether it's happiness, whether it's success or contribution or growth. Those are emotions that we were designed to immerse ourselves in, bathe in, and make the most of them. The so-called negative emotions, whether it's loneliness, fear, aggression, anger, whatever it may be, they were meant to be emotions that we touch on and are often a warning. Like something like aggression or anger, which is like, obviously people label it as being undesirable, it can be a sign of like, these are my limits, back off. And other emotions is like, it's more of a warning sign, like, okay, something's off, something's not quite right. And then it's like, for me, it's like you're not meant to immerse in those emotions. You don't meant to immerse in sadness, or immerse in anger, or immerse in loneliness. It's just like, hold on, something's wrong. It's like a little warning system. It's the body letting you know that something's off track. So I personally think the best thing to do with these emotions is when you notice yourself being in that place is, first of all, what I call an observer mode, which is, oh, isn't that interesting? And I like that curiosity, by the way. Isn't that interesting? I'm feeling sad right now, or I'm feeling lost right now, I'm feeling anxious right now. And then I often will follow that up with, I wonder what my body's trying to tell me. And sometimes you won't get the answer straight away. And this is an acceptance of, okay, I noticed that emotion passed through me, or I stayed there for a little bit. I'm always looking for clues in my own mindset. It's like, if I feel happy, fulfilled, joyous, excited, whatever it may be, I'm always going to think of, what was it that led me to feel that emotion. I probably need to do more of that. And equally with the negative emotions, negative ones, because I don't necessarily believe that word, the emotions that you don't really want to be dwelling or staying in. It's like, I wonder what it was. Was there something that happened? Did I think about something? Did I digest a particular piece of news? Whatever it may be, sometimes you start to accumulate clues as to why that emotional state has shown up. Basically, it's the unconscious brain saying, something's not quite right here, and it's often quite a crude way of telling you that, you know, you maybe need to tweak and adjust. But yeah, first of all, observe, because when you observe that emotion, you can learn from it. Once you learn from it, then you're at choice in terms of, do I want to then do something differently? You know, do I want to use my body differently? Do I want to change my focus or my language, do something differently and shift to another emotion? Do I use the warning to shift? Equally, there's another case where you may be in a position whereby some of these patterns of emotions that are not as desirable are showing up on a regular basis, and it might just be an old habit or pattern that you're running. And then you can just make a choice. Do I choose to stop that? And I think the easiest way to stop an old negative habit or pattern is to work out, well, what emotional needs is it meeting for you, and use, if you look at my other video called Displacement Theory, use something positive. So create something positive that's going to create that emotional need for you, meet it for you, where that habit will start to just dissipate or just go away. Anyway, some thoughts there around so-called negative, positive emotions. I hope that's useful for you. And I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.